How to start a storage business. If you're thinking about starting one, great, you've come to the right place. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. So I started my first of 16 companies when I was 19. I built them, bought them, sold them, and wrecked them. And within that group, and they're still successful, I still own them, I built multiple storage facilities. Storage facilities are a great business because, well, candidly, you don't have a bunch of toilets, and if people don't pay you, you can put a lock on the door. It's a good business, but you've got to make sure you do things in the right way. And that's going to start with three primary areas. The three things to be successful in the storage business are: number one, doing a solid, healthy market analysis. Two, what's the type of facility that you need to build? And then three, making sure that you have the right management to run it. So we start talking about getting the beginnings. How do you do that market analysis? Well, it's pretty easy in most cases. You can go to a lot of the municipalities, the cities, the county, whatever it may be, and you can ask for traffic maps. Traffic maps will help you define how many people are traveling in these areas or that area. Old school way would have been that you buy a big paper map and you actually plot where are the other storage facilities. And you look at it at a high level and say, okay, we've got here, wow, there's a big gap and there's a bunch of people over in this area. Maybe worth looking at that. So once you start to define the areas on a high level that could work, well, good. Go around to each one of the existing facilities and check out, hey, act as if you're gonna rent a unit, find out how much it is, what do they have available? And they say, yeah, geez, we've got half our facility open. And yeah, there's no, we're really low, and yeah, we're running all sorts of incentives. Probably not a good market. But if you go around and everybody's like, yeah, no, we're full, or I only have one unit open, it'll be open next week, that has the potential to be a very solid market to go into. Then you can go in and start figuring out what is the cost per square foot on a monthly basis that people are renting those for. Okay, that says that, yeah, I'm getting on average it's $1 a square foot that people are getting. Okay, great, that's good. Then that's going to help you to start to find, yes, I do have a market, a potential market for it. Now, when you're doing these interviews in this market analysis, you're not just looking for vacancies, but you're looking for the type of storage that people are renting. In some cases, it might be internal storage. In some cases, it might be internal climate controlled. In other places, it might be, I've got some facilities where I've got huge, 14-foot overhead doors with pull-throughs. What are those high-end units? What are the units? What are the demand for? And then start trying to get an understanding. Now, this is something that's important when you're doing this market analysis. As you go around, remember, you've got two ears and one mouth. Ask questions and listen. Most managers will tell you everything you wanted to know. They love having somebody to talk to. There's a good opportunity for that. You may say, well, hey, what else do you have to offer? What makes you different than somebody else? Oh, we have security, we have 24-hour access, we have gate codes, we have whatever it may be. But this is also going to help you define what it is you need to build. So once you start to do this, A, we need to see, is there a market? That's going to help. Great. B, the next step is going to be to start understanding, where would you like to build? Now, you may want to build, and it may make perfect sense to build in a certain area, but the city, county, municipality, whatever you're in, may say the zoning doesn't allow for it, or maybe there just isn't any ground available. If that's the case, you're going to have to figure out end runs and how can you get adjacent. What are ways to alternatives around that? Sometimes there are people who are going around buying old big box retail stores, like an old Kmart or maybe an old Target or old grocery stores. And sometimes people are converting those to climate controlled storage that's inside. Sometimes that works. Maybe you can put some units out in front. But you need to understand what that is. And then you have to talk to the municipalities about what is the zoning in those areas. And at the very beginning, I talked about road maps and traffic maps. Part of this is you're going to start to see what's available for sale, what is the zoning that would be approved for storage facility, And then once you start to understand those, okay, what areas have the highest traffic? You want to be on the highest traffic. I'm a fan of being between where the housing is and where a Walmart is. It's a very rough rule of thumb, but if you have that, it can be a little bit difficult to get to if it has great visibility. All of my facilities sit on an interstate and they have a big tower that people can see, and it makes sense like, oh, okay, it's right there. It may be an extra hoop to get there, but people see it and it has that top of mind. So I know what the traffic counts are. I knew that there was a demand in those areas. So, jumping around a little bit, apologize. So you've defined the area that you want to be in. You've defined the market. You're getting an idea of how much it's going to cost per square foot or what you could get to rent it. Now we need to start figuring out the cost per square foot for two things. One, how much is your dirt? How much is the ground? And entitlements associated with the ground going to cost? And then two, what is the actual building facility going to cost? So when we talk about ground and entitlements, what are entitlements? Well, entitlements are going to be changing the zoning. It's things that are entitled and go along with the property. So if we know that we need to do a zoning change, it depends on the community and where in the world you are. Sometimes that's easy, sometimes it's really, really hard. So ideally you want something that's already pre-approved for zoning. You may need to get a survey if it's not coming with when you're buying it. You may need to improve it by putting water or sewer or electrical to it. If you have to do this, this gets really, really expensive fast. I've had to do this a couple times and it'll blow your budget tremendously. So clearly defining when you have that piece of property that you're looking at, what is it going to take to even be able to start to build, to get the approval? Do I need to bring electricity to it? Do I need to bring water to it? Is this facility going to have water? Do I need fiber optics? What is it? Everything that all in needs to happen so that you can even start. And how does that work? And there's ways that you can actually go through and put these in the contracts and have extensions in your contracts that allow you time to do this where you may not even take the property down. So let me hit that high level. If you come in and you're looking at a property, let's say it's listed for sale, or maybe it isn't listed for sale but it's the right area, and you go to the owner directly. You say, hey, I'd be interested in buying your property, but I need to figure these things out. Here's a contract that says I will pay X, but I get these extensions to make sure that I can figure out the zoning piece and this other piece, because it's really not worth it to me if I don't. And you may only put $10,000 down in earnest money, and then you can hold on to everything else after that. It's more complex, and we can talk about that in another video. If people have interested, please make notes of this in the bottom. But the idea, though, is that you can do a lot of work before you ever actually take the property down, meaning you actually buy it. And with this, you can go through and do that, and then you're also going to do a feasibility, a pro forma, a projection of future expenses, costs, and revenue that you believe based on your market analysis. And then you're also going to have to build a full budget around what's it going to take to actually build the property. Meaning, how much are the buildings going to cost? But what are the foundations? But what's the dirt work? Do we have to do any additional infrastructure? So you're going to have infrastructure, then you've got dirt work to make sure that everything's laid out right. You may end up doing gravel, or depending on where you are, it could be gravel, asphalt, or even concrete site work, to where it's not just your foundations, but all of your roads and streets. Your municipality may require certain things. Then you've got the actual buildings, the doors, the camera, security, fence, gates. There's a ton of different things in there. But there's not that much, and there's different spreadsheets and performance you can find out there. It's not that hard. When you start having all of this, it's going to make your life a lot easier, because you can build all that pro forma and say, wow, it's actually going to cost me $52 a square foot to build it. And when I add in my land costs of, $3 a square foot for the actual what I'm renting it at, or maybe it's $5, again, figure out what it is. Okay, so that means all in I'm gonna be about $60 a square foot. Fair enough. I can get $12 a square foot if I'm fully rented. Figure out what your vacancy is, back into that. And it's gonna help you start figuring out where you go and does this make sense? The better your pro forma is, the better your numbers are, the better your market analysis is. The more you work through and figure out what are the exact numbers you're trying to figure out, the easier it's gonna be for you to say, man, I'd be an idiot not to do this. Or, whew, it's close, but no, we're not gonna make it. And I'm really gonna encourage you to say, invest that time and energy and look at it as a win if you do it and you say, no, actually this isn't the right fit for me. Because the thing is, if you can walk away from it before and it's not a good deal, then walk away. Don't try and force it. So in my book, and it's The Aspiring Solopreneur, but we also have a full workshop at aspiringsolopreneur.com where we actually have you go through and help you build out your business plans. And it'll actually include, attorneys, accountants, how to find all these right people to build your team of advisors. So if this has been of any value, please let us know on the bottom, subscribe, check out some of the other videos on this channel. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid of reaching out direct to us. Thank you, keep smiling.